الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينصلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أحد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكس في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وظللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق وهو أصدق الصادقين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت إن الله عليم خبير آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد. Respected scholars, elders, brothers, sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sometimes when you address a crowd, it is possible that the subject matter that you've chosen may not be relevant. You might speak to a people, you might speak to them about child upbringing, but within the crowd there may be individuals who do not have children. It's possible that you speak about how to make the most of your youthful age and you might be speaking to a group of elderly individuals. However, when it comes to the topic of death, it's not possible that it's not relatable to anybody who sits in front of you. It's the one common denominator that each and every one of us has, a certainty that every mother has after going through the pangs of labor and giving birth to her child. She doesn't know if the child can see, if the child can hear, does he have good senses, is she able to swallow? The only certainty this mother has after 9 months of toil is that there will be a day that this child will be buried and returned back to his or her Lord. Interesting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran numerous times reminds us how dependent we are upon Him and how little knowledge we have, indicating to us that if you, O man, don't know, if you, O man, have very little knowledge, if you, O man, cannot even say what's going to happen tomorrow to you, then at least prepare for that which you are certain about. You prepare for that which is uncertain. Why do you put so much effort into that which you are uncertain about and put little effort into that which you are certain of? In Surah Luqman, Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ. When it comes to the day of judgment, every child will have asked their parents, when is the day of judgment? And as rightful individuals, we will attest to the fact that we have no knowledge of that day. That knowledge, Allah says, is with Him. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ. As for the rainfall, you can try and predict it, O man, but as knowledgeable as you may be, with the tools and apparatus you may have, even that is going to be at max a prediction as to what is going to happen tomorrow. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. And even when you, O mother, when you are pregnant, initially you don't even know that you're pregnant, Allah knows that He has placed a clot within you. When you find out that you are carrying a creation of Allah, you do not know of which gender. When you find out which gender, it is impossible for you, O mother, to even say if this child that you will bear will be a mu'min or a kafir. You have a certain responsibility, a certain duty, but at the end of the day, your knowledge stops, O man. Then Allah begins to speak more directly to man. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا. Oh man, you don't not know what you will be able to obtain tomorrow. Tomorrow. We're not talking about childbirth after 9 months. We're not talking about the weather after 24 hours, after 48 hours. We're talking about exactly tomorrow. Will you be able to bring in income or not? Will you be able to feed yourself and pay your debts and pay your dues or not? Oh man, despite this intricate body that I have given you, knowledge is something you lack. Certainty is something that you lack. Not only certainty what you'll bring tomorrow, but let me speak to you about your very own body that you call yours. If somebody asks me what's mine, I can say that the house, I can say the car, but the one thing I'm certain of is this flesh and bones. Nobody can take it away from me. Allah says, if you are certain of this very same body that you call yours, then tell me, وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ. Are you able to even say which land you will pass away on? You might even plan for it. You might even buy a plot of land in the maqbara and in the graveyard, and after your mother has passed away and your father and your spouse, you'll say the next one is for me. You may try and plan, but oh man, I can tell you with certainty that you do not know in which land you are going to pass away. Inna Allaha alimun khabir. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is all knowing. In the Quran, many instances that Allah reminds us of death. The ahadith have a plethora of mentionings of death. In 2-3 minutes that remain, allow me just to tell you that first and foremost, when we bury a mu'min, the difficulty is not on the other side of the curtain. The difficulty is on this side. That we have to live without a believer. We have to live without a parent. We have to live without a brother, a sibling, a friend. The difficulty is not on that side. So long as somebody strives hard, this God that the Prophet taught us about is not going to be a God who is going to bring difficulty to us, provided that we uphold that one condition and that we strove hard in this life. That the 60, 70, 80 years He gave us, maybe 20, 30 years, whatever it was, He gifted us an amount of time, and all He wanted from us is that we try our best. None of us will be perfect, and He knows that. He hasn't created us as ma'soom. He's created us as individuals who will make a mistake and who will sin, who will use this same body that He gifted to us to go against Him. He knows that. But now He wants to see, will you try and make amends before your final breath? Will you try your best? And provided you try your best, and when that final time comes that Allah removes the soul from this body, we should be absolutely certain that the mu'mineen that we bury and that we leave behind in the graveyard are not alone. We left them, but the Prophet and his family have now embraced them. It's for the kuffar, it's for those who don't try, it's for those who reject the signs and the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They should be worried. We still have a duty nonetheless, that the books have been closed for our beloved ones who have passed on the permanent journey. It's for us then to do our best as community members, as children, as siblings, to send forth what we can so that we can only ease their journey in the next life. But I find it very difficult that anybody should even think for a moment that the Prophet who loves you and I more than our own mother and father, who is a rahmah, who is the manifestation of God's mercy for you and me, that He would be able to watch you and I being given any type of difficulty in the next life. It's not possible. Your mother wouldn't allow it. Your father wouldn't allow it. And we have now gifted and returned back a beautiful soul into the company of the Ahlul Bayt. It is impossible that Muhammad and Al Muhammad would stand there and watch any difficulty be inflicted upon us all. Like I said, the difficulty is now here, that we have to bear the loss. But as soon as we bear a loss, we also have to learn a great lesson. Allah reminds us throughout the Quran that, oh man, a time will come that you will realize you're at the final hurdle now. At that time, don't let it be a time of regret. In the Quran, in Surah Al-Munafiqun, Allah says, وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Oh people, go and spend in the way of Allah مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ, prior to death coming to one of you. Before death comes. Don't wait for death to come and then ask for change. Don't wait to become terminally ill and then say, I will pray those salah that are qadha. Who said that people will become terminally ill before they pass away? Who said they will be given a muhla and a time of 3 months or 6 months in order to realize that I'm now going, I need to make amends. I need to call that brother I haven't spoken to. I need to start paying back that debt of that individual who I look in the face and I say salam to, but I don't remind him and mention anything about the debt that I have on my shoulders to him. Who said we're going to be given that time? Allah says, when death comes to a people, فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى أَجْلٍ قَرِيبٍ. They will cry out to God. They'll say, oh God, just delay it for a short while. Delay it a bit. فَأَصَّدَّقَ, so I can go and give charity. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and then I'll be of the righteous. I know what to do. I know you've asked me to pray and to fast and to give charity. I know I'm not doing it because I'm waiting for a time when I'm certain that I'm not going to enjoy this life anymore and I better prepare for the next life. God is saying that that next life is certain. It's coming to everybody. It might come in a blink of an eye, and for some people they might be given a bit of a heads up. We don't know which category will fall in. So the one lesson we can learn from from every individual who passes away on earth, whether we see it or we don't, when we pass through a maqbara and we drive through a graveyard, is to remember that we don't know if it's going to be us who is going to be buried in that next grave which has been kept open and ready for the next man or woman. Allow me to end by reminding us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants that we don't just bury a person, but we have to take it a step forward. Imam al-Hussein teaches us that when calamity hits and strikes, especially that which you didn't bring upon your own self, Allah desires something from us. He wants that we say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But we go a step further and we say, Ridham biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amrih. Allah, yes, I'm going to submit to your command. I am powerless. I am totally dependent. Not only am I going to submit, Ridham biqada'ihi. This is the difficult part. I'm going to be pleased with your decree. It's difficult for me to swallow, but I am certain that you would not have done anything but that it was good for that individual. If you took an individual back to the next life, it's difficult for me, but I'm certain it was good for him or for her. So I too am going to be pleased that now my brother, my sister, my father is in your company. I will submit, I will learn from that lesson, and I'm going to now prepare for my coming towards this eternal journey. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost, that He forgives Marhum Mohamed Bharwani. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate his soul. May He place him in a beautiful garden next to the gardens of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam. For the family members, community friends that are left behind, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He engulfs them and us in His choices, sabr and patience, so that we can bear this difficulty and loss. For His children that are left behind, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them the tawfiq to serve their parent despite the demise. A child's responsibility is that they continuously ask for forgiveness of the parent when the parent has passed away and fulfill their debts, whether it be the salah and the sawm or any financial debt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire His children and give them the tawfiq to continue to uphold the right of the parent even though they may have passed away. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bharwani. Today I stand before you with a heavy heart, mourning the loss of my beloved Dada Bapa, Marhum Bharwani. His passing has left a void in all of our lives that can never be filled. But as I reflect on the memories we shared, I am reminded of the impact he had on my life and the lives of everyone he touched. Dada Bapa was more than just a grandfather to me. He was my best friend and a confidant. He was always there for me, offering guidance, support, and unconditional love. I am grateful for the time we spent together, going on drives, playing carom, and enjoying our favourite foods. These memories are a testament to the bond we shared and the lessons he taught me. But Dada Bapa was more than that to me. He was a pillar of strength in our family, holding us together with his love and compassion. He was the glue that kept us all united, and his selflessness and generosity were an inspiration to us all. I have so many fun memories of Dada Bapa that I could sit here and talk to you for hours, sharing them with you if we had all night. But one thing I realized after looking back at these memories and good times with Dada is that each of these memories is a life lesson. Everything Dada said to me had a meaning behind it. Everything Dada and I did together had a meaning behind it. I do want to share one memory with you. I mentioned previously that Dada and I used to play carom quite a bit. We were both very competitive, so these games got very intense. When he came back to Northwood a few weeks ago, I would go every evening after my uni to play with him, chill and eat. Now, one thing you need to know about my dada was that he was a big cheat in this game. He would make up the rules as we went along, and he would play fouls without any repercussions. But yet, I would still beat him fair and square. However, when I say I would beat him fair and square, I would also cheat a bit to balance it out, making it fair. After beating him, I would gloat, and Dada's response would be, "You are my grandson. How can I beat you? If I win, you'll get disheartened and stop playing." I used to brush that off as Dada just joking around with me. But as I look back at the memories Dada and I shared, I can see a common theme where Dada would always make sure everyone else around him was happy before himself. He would never do anything to put anyone down. All his actions had the intention to lift someone up, and for that I am ever so grateful. One thing I realized about Dada was that he wasn't your typical grandfather. He was a man that I turned to in all situations. When I had a problem, he had a solution. When I had a question, he had an answer. He helped me in all aspects of my life. I ask that you all remember him in your prayers. If my grandfather has ever upset you in any way, I humbly request that you find it in your hearts to forgive him. Additionally, as you may all be aware, my grandfather was a very generous and giving man. If he had any pledges that you may know of that he did not get the chance to fulfill, or any outstanding debts that he may have, please contact either my father Munir Bharwani or my chacha Arif Bharwani. I would like to take a moment to express my deep gratitude for the Jamaat in Dar es Salaam. Their support and assistance while my grandfather was there, and the arrangements they made to bring him back home to us, meant so much to me and my family. I am also incredibly grateful to the burial team in Stanmore for their exceptional care of my grandfather and their willingness to accommodate our requests during this difficult time. Their kindness and attentiveness to both my grandfather and our family has been truly remarkable. Finally, I cannot thank our community enough for everything. The support from friends and family has helped the whole family through this really tough time, and inshallah all the du'as and Quran recited on behalf of my grandfather will be accepted. I'm immensely appreciative of the support we have received during this challenging time. It has truly meant the world to me and my family. I want to end by thanking my dada. For not being just a grandfather, but for being a mentor, a role model, and most importantly, for being my best friend. Today is a new chapter for all of us. For us, it is a chapter without Dada, a chapter where we miss him and remember good times. But for Dada, this is a chapter where he starts to make his own journey, a journey where he is one step closer to his Lord. So let us help make that journey easier by remembering my Dada in our du'as and prayers. Let us recite Surah Fatiha for my Dada Bapa, Marhum Bharwani, and all other Marhumins. Al-Fatiha.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وأصحاب الحسين، أخيك أبي الفضل العباس وأختيك زينب وأم كلثوم، السلام عليك يا علي بن حسين زين العابدين ومحمد بن علي الباقر وجعفر بن محمد الصادق وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم وعلي بن موسى الرضا وأختك فاطمة معصومة ومحمد بن علي التقي الجواد وعلي النقي الهادي والحسن بن علي العسكري والحجة بن الحسن المهدي يا صاحب الزمان، عجل الله فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.